You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy. Me, your host Jan. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Really do genuinely hope that. I only want the best for everyone watching this video. We are talking about strikers because Everton are looking to get a quick deal done with Chelsea for pure profit asset Armando Broja. Of course, Chelsea are looking at a new striker. We've got Nico Jackson. We've got other players that can play down the middle, and we've got young strikers that could be good as well, like other guys, whether it's David Washington or Ronnie Stutter, or there's other kids in the academy that are really good. We'll get into that today. So we're going to speak about strikers. Great time to be alive. Support the content. Yes, thank you for joining me. Consider supporting the content. Super simple. Like, subscribe, comment, share if you want to do any of that stuff, if you're that way inclined. But you don't have to. Thankful for you guys coming to hang out regardless. But if you want to support dating, that's how you do it. So, before we speak about Broja, former Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel has rejected the opportunity to take over at Manchester United. Of course, not essentially Chelsea news. Lightly affiliated because he's a former coach, of course, winning us the Champions League, Club World Cup and Super Cup. And I just wanted to reference it briefly because, of course, he was being reported that he had discussions with Ineos. It does seem like the Manchester United owners want to sack their manager Ten Hag. And they were speaking to Tuchel, probably looking to do a couple of things. It was reported to get the best out of Mason Mount. And lest we forget, Tuchel loves Mason Mount. And get the best out of Jadon Sancho. They feel like they had such a heavy investment in Sancho. 70 plus million? 72 million? I'm thinking 72, but I don't know. How much was Jadon Sancho? It was a lot of money, wasn't it? It was a lot of money. I think so, maybe 75. And obviously, they're paying Sancho immense wages. So it was like, get the best out of him. But no. He's rejected the opportunity. Manchester United fans, quite rightly, are very concerned about the ponderous position they are in. Yeah, I mean, it could always be worse, right, guys? Let's talk about Chelsea. So this is an exclusive from Ben Jacobs, CBS. Is he still a CBS reporter? I know he writes for Give Me Sport and other people. But yeah, okay, freelance sort of journalist. But by all accounts, reputable, has links and sources. He said this, exclusive: Everton are pushing to sign Armando Broja. Club in daily contract with Chelsea with a £30 million package discussed. Everton are hoping for a quick breakthrough. Now, quick breakthrough often means good. People have speculated that Chelsea need quick deals done because apparently we had this soft deadline of June the 30th. That has since been rubbished, and Chelsea have already passed PSR rules for this financial year, which leads up to the 30th of June. And actually, it was the next financial year that they'd have to sell for, but they'd have past the June the 30th, this summer transfer window, so leave it later on, try and get better deals. January transfer window next year, and indeed the beginning of next summer's transfer window. So Chelsea have got plenty of time to comply with the financial fair play, the PSR rules. Now, Everton are getting new owners. I wonder if this is something to do with that. It's been speculated online, maybe, but having wanted, they're speaking to Chelsea every day. They want to get a deal done. Now, off the bat, 30 million quid for Broja. Is great. I'm sorry, that is wicked. Now, look, I know apparently we were quoting 50 million a year ago. That was ludicrous. He obviously came off a massive... Look, he's highly rated. We'll speak about that in just a second. He came off a massive injury, and then he went on what can only be described as a dismal failure of a loan at Fulham under Marco Silva, and he's come out and since spoken about that. Armando saying how he feels like... Yeah, because, what's his name? Marco Silva got on the phone to him and said, look, come to Fulham, I'll play as much as I can. He didn't play him at all. And I know Muniz was scoring or whatever, but still, it was poor form from Fulham and the manager. So, yes, that I thought, and many thought, was going to be seriously detrimental to Broja's valuation, but he remains to be highly regarded in the game. Now, this is such an interesting proposal for him, because I was thinking in my head, God, if we can get 25 million for him, job done. Like, I'd be very happy with that. He's still got a high ceiling. He hasn't. Like, let's be real here. Like, come on, look. I'm gonna talk about goals from Broja. First of all, he's 22. He is a great potential, right? He is. He's got great potential. So this season, he scored 1 goal in the Premier League, and that was for Chelsea. I kind of think I remember that. Was it Wolves? Good goal, I think. He played 455 minutes for Chelsea and scored 1 goal, which of course isn't great. He also played for Fulham for just minutes, 8 appearances for Fulham, and in 8 appearances he's got 83 minutes, so he's averaging just over 10 minutes in an appearance. So yeah, off the bench. But he scored 1 goal in the league this season. He scored in the Nations League for Albania. He's Albania's first choice goalkeeper. Two appearances, 1 goal. Good. But let's look at his history. So he's got 1 goal this season in the Premier League. Last season he got 1 goal in the Premier League. The season before, of course, when people were talking about him, he was on loan at Southampton. He scored 6 goals in basically 2,000 minutes. I mean, that's not good. I know he's young, and people look at Broja as a profile. He's tall, but he's really fast. He's super fast, and he's strong. He's good. Like people look at his makeup. Obviously, he scored a lot of goals at youth level, like loads of goals at youth level at Chelsea. Teams will look at him and go, right, look at this guy move. Look at this guy not get beaten off the ball. Look at this guy's footballing intelligence. It's all theory at the moment. And the fact that we can get £30 million on theory is friggin' massive. Like, he scored 6 Premier League goals for Southampton. And he's still young, I guess. Do you know what I mean? He scored 10 goals at Vitesse. So he basically, he was really good for the Chelsea development squad. He went to Vitesse. He even said, like, I want to, and this was in the 2020-21 season, the season we won the Champions League. He scored double figures in the league for Vitesse for goals, which is good. This is back when Chelsea still had a relationship with Vitesse under the old ownership. And he said, look, I want to do what Mason Mount did. Go to Vitesse, come back and get a loan. And he did that. He went to Vitesse, did pretty well. You know, not amazing, but pretty decent. 10 goals in 1,800 minutes. And then gets a loan to Southampton. So he didn't go to the Championship. He went straight to a Premier League loan. And people were positive about him. He only scored 6 goals in 100 more minutes than he did at Vitesse, where he scored 10 goals. But people looked at him and went, right, I get it. Do you know what I mean? Albania's like celebration, good brand, young player, just looks like he's built for the Premier League. So I did think it was fanciful when Chelsea was saying £50 million, but when we signed him onto that new long-term deal, a year or two ago, there were reports from The Athletic saying this kid is regarded as one of the best young strikers in the world. He could be one of the best strikers in the world. And I think maybe scouts, analysts, people would look at him closely and think, yeah, there's something there. So that's why Chelsea went 50 million quid, mate. But oh my word, that's fanciful. And I was just hoping we'd get 25, but I just thought if we take 20, it would probably be like 20 quid pure profit on the book. But to get 30 million pure profit on the books would be, I think, excellent. And again, you can tally up. You can do the 28 million from Hall. You can do the 35, probably 30 million from Martson. Another 30 million from Broja. Remember, I know people are rightly, for quite a bunch of reasons, upset about the pure profit academy sales, but this is money that goes on the immediate financial year's books. And when you sign a player for 100 million and put them on an 8-year deal, it is spread across 8 years. Do you know what I mean? Or so you amortize it and you basically spread that cost on the books from a long period. So to sell these players now for that money is a huge boon. And to be honest, man, like, how many people here was thinking, you know, maybe a year ago, people had really high hopes for Broja. But now they're probably thinking, okay, we've got Jackson. Looks good. pretty good. We've got players who can play down the middle. Heck, we've even seen, like, for example, like Cole Palmer play there. We know Nkunku can play there. We know we're going to buy a striker. If someone said to you, you're going to get 30 million quid for Armando Broja, you'd think, thank you very, very much. No disrespect to him. I would have loved for it to work. It would have been a great feeling. But yeah, Everton. So let's talk about this. Calvert-Lewin, of course, is a great striker. Was a great striker. Probably peaked under Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti is quite a good sort of forwards whisperer, isn't he? So yeah, I can understand. Yeah, I think of Calvert-Lewin now, and I think of, like, look, more power to him for his fashion stuff, but I think of, like, him standing there with, like, handbags. I ain't got a problem with it. I think it's cool. Branch out, break down barriers, but I'm thinking about him for outrageous fashion statements rather than scoring goals in the Premier League. I think he's a great striker, but it's very interesting that it would seem that Everton are willing to put 30 million quid on Armando Broja. Is it Beto? They've got Beto as well. If Everton, I know Everton have been poorly run for many years, 5-10 years, whatever, and they've spent loads of money on largely a creative attacking number 10s. Remember they spent one summer and they just bought 4 of them, including Wayne Rooney, I think, and they haven't been, like, intelligently run, but 30 million still. I know they've had big outlays. It's still a big outlay for them, So it would mean they surely have intentions to play him. Now, to sort of reiterate what I was saying in terms of Broja being really highly rated in the game, loads of clubs want him. Champions League clubs want him. Milan are talking of signing him. And AC Milan have had a great time with Chelsea. They signed Giroud off us. Amazing, like, signing. He was won the title with them, scored a bunch of goals. They love him. They love him out there. Tomori for 25 million quid. Tomori's, again, won the Scudetto over there. Fikayo Tomori, they love him as well. He's learned fluent Italian within his first season. He integrated immensely, immaculately, in fact. Of course, Pulisic went there, and Pulisic has started way more than people speculated because, of course, they had Rafa Leao, and they did have another winger that, is it Chukwueze there as well? But yeah, Pulisic ended up playing a lot of minutes and playing well for them, and, like, they like him. He's exciting out there. And another player that seems to be a massive fan favourite that I certainly have a soft spot for is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Scored loads of goals from midfield, has a lovely time in Italy. They call him the tractor. He's got his, like, celebration with his hand down. Is that like a basketball celebration? I'm not sure. They've had a ruddy, wicked time at Chelsea, Milan. So they're probably thinking, the last Chelsea striker, Giroud's leaving. Our Broja could go. So they're Champions League club. Monaco are playing in the Champions League. They've been talking about him as well. And I know, was it maybe not Villa, but Wolves want him. There's another Premier League club. And Everton are trying to get a deal done over the line very quickly. I wonder if they know that there's, like, other suitors for Armando Broja and they're trying to get this done quickly. And they're like, all right, just send him to us. And then somehow this guy who, in the Premier League, in the last 3 years in the Premier League, he has scored 5 goals. 5 goals in 3 years in the Premier League. And look, he was out with a ACL. Was it ACL or Achilles? Horrible injury. But rip the hands off. So Chelsea, it would be really interesting what Chelsea do here. They're either like, say, all right, here you go. You want to get it done quickly? Give us the 30 million. Obviously, make sure Broja wants to join. And by the way, look, they're not going to get relegated now. They're under Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche isn't the sexiest manager in the world, but, his strikers can score goals every now and again. And Broja will just back himself to maybe get another move, but just needs to be a starter in the Premier League. Like, he hasn't been a starter in the Premier League since Southampton. And even then, he played 21 out of 38 games. So it was barely the majority. He'll think, right, if you sign me, I know you're not going to get relegated. They shouldn't do now, especially with Dyche. Start me in every single game, So make sure he keeps that number 9 spot for Albania, and he'll back himself to get another Premier League move as well. If he does agree to join Everton, then cash money, man. Let me know what you think about that, guys. So striker, I do want to talk about it and go add a bit more essentially, because look, We're going to buy a striker. We are. That's what we're talking about. Seshko, Alvarez, other options as well. But the truth is, Chelsea, they really do like Nico Jackson. Again, he was an excellent buy for 30 million quid. I do feel like maybe we'll see the versatility of Jackson a little bit more in terms of playing out wide and Chelsea utilising him as a sort of wide forwards as well. You know, if you buy a Benjamin Seshko, who probably is still favourite to go to Arsenal, but if you manage to tie him down, he's going to be a number 9 centre forward, I think. So maybe you push Jackson out wide in certain games, or he's the second choice, a substitute. But Jackson is a shining light in terms of the sporting director's recent, their plan in terms of one of their recent acquisitions. He's a good player and he's great value, I think. And I do think Jackson will get better as the side settles. He will score goals. He'll be a reliable and consistent goal scorer. I don't think he'll be like crazy prolific, but I feel like you'll see good goals from him. You'll see assists from him, and you'll see the flicks and combinational play in the final third, which we've learned to be used to from Jackson. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to buy a striker. I think probably with the new management in Enzo Maresca, they've looked at a player like Armando Broja. Obviously, they want the pure profit in terms of balancing the book. He's an academy asset. It's cash money, like I said. But also, I don't know how much everyone has watched Broja who's watching this video, but he's sort of thrives on the transition. He looks amazing when he runs in the channel towards, I was gonna say the enemy goal, the opposition goal. And yeah, he strongholds people off. He can just receive the ball, turn and shoot, but he looks magnificent when he starts from a deeper position, turns and runs at the ball with the ball. You suddenly feel like you've got a real threat. Which felt good with Chelsea because we haven't seen that too much with a striker running in on goal. It's more about like just trying to score goals from combinational play. But maybe if Maresca is going to be really passing the opposition team to death, a player that looks so good on transition like Broja, I mean, Sean Dyche's Everton. Low block and counter. I mean, as I'm saying it now to you guys, it makes perfect friggin' sense, doesn't it? You play deep, you play the ball over the top to Armando Broja running in behind. He'll gobble them up. Yeah, I get it. I do think he'll do excellent in Ligue 1 for Monaco and great for Milan. And of course, if he goes to Milan, it'll be with the Chelsea boys. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think Milan are going to pay £30 million for Armando Broja. And Everton has still got that Premier League money ultimately. Yeah. All right. Well, I did say recently I want to spend some time and speak about Broja as this deal looks more imminent. And I feel like I've done that today. I feel like I've spent some time speaking about the player because he deserves respect. He's not quite a Ruben Loftus-Cheek who was in and out and like what could have been, but he's still only 22, Broja. But he deserves a conversation. We've had it today. So as always, I put it out to you guys. Let's see your comments in the comment section. Love reading them. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Keep it locked because as soon as news pops, I'm gonna be here, man. So see you back here very soon. Peace.